different movie.
And if I don't want to make a different movie?
Do you want my advice? We gotta show the audience what it needs to see.
This should be interesting.
Okay, so every now and then I will come across something that is totally unexpected. And with this show, The Offer, I was not expecting a lot out of it. It looked kind of interesting. I was a little surprised that Miles Teller was doing a show. It's a mini-series, but still a show for a streaming outlet. I thought he just did movies. And so I was like, okay, a show about the making of The Godfather. Like, I'll give it a try. And oh my gosh, was this show fucking amazing. I am going to get into it.
You're still gonna try and make this thing?
I got no choice.
I took a chance on you and you stabbed me in the back.
I won't judge you if you need to walk away from this.
I'm not running either.
This is what it's all about. The excitement. The thrill. That's movie magic, baby.
Okay, so The Offer is a mini-series of 10 episodes. Once the 10 episodes are done, it's over. I don't know of any plans to do a second season. There's no cliffhanger ending at the last episode. And this is pretty much a complete, tight story. And it follows the producer of The Godfather, Al Ruddy. Okay, he was the exclusive producer on that film. And it's about his journey from going from a desk job to a computer company to becoming the producer of The Godfather. And, like, honestly, I never was a huge fan of the movie The Godfather. I had seen it. It's like, yeah, it's a decent movie. Not my cup of tea. And it should have been my cup of tea because, one, not only am I Italian, I'm Sicilian. And so I should have really loved that movie. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it was good. It's considered one of the greatest films of all time. And, like, you know, it's okay. I mean, I never really look forward to seeing it whenever, you know, my dad wants to watch it. He suggests it to me. But it's like, yeah, no, it's decent. After watching this miniseries, I wanted to see The Godfather really bad. It's like, oh, man. That's what that scene was about. It's like, oh, that's true. And oh my gosh, I gotta see this movie now. And I enjoyed the movie The Godfather so much more after watching this show. That's how great this show was. It was able to make The Godfather better because it showed you behind the scenes of how this movie, The Godfather, it's a miracle it got made. It really is. And one of the great things about the show is the pacing and the performances. It's not an action show, but just so much happens in each episode. There's no dragged out subplots that go nowhere. There's no useless things that don't do any good. Every part of the show actually has merit, and it does actually feel like it belongs. And so I never once looked at the clock when watching this show because I was completely captivated with each and every episode. And one of the reasons why that was the case is every actor did an amazing job on this show. I mean, Miles Teller did a great job as Al Ruddy. I absolutely loved his character. He had some great lines. A huge standout for me was Juno Temple. I've almost never liked any of her performances because she always kind of played the same ditzy, dumb blonde character in so many of her roles. And in this, it was halfway through the show until I realized, holy shit, that's Juno Temple. And she did an amazing job in this show. I absolutely loved her character in this show. And other standouts was Baron Gorman as the producer, or not the producer, the entire CEO of Paramount. Charlie, his name was Charlie, and then an Austrian name. He did a fantastic job. Although Baron Gorman usually does a really good job on most of the stuff he said, except for Halo. But for the most part, he does a good job in anything he said, and this is probably one of his best roles in The Offer, is this CEO, because there are times you hate him, there are times you absolutely love him, there are times he just completely catches you off guard. I mean, he does a fantastic job in the show. But probably the true standout in this show is Matthew Good as Bob Evans. He does probably the best performance of his entire career, and this guy has been in Academy Award-winning movies. This guy played Ozymandias in The Watchmen. This is his best role to date, because he steals every single fucking scene as Bob Evans. I mean, when he walks in the room, you are going to have a truly entertaining time watching him on the screen. That is how scene stealing he is as Bob Evans. And then there's others in the cast that are truly great, like Gianni Ribisi as Columbo. He did a good job. And then Colin Hanks does a pretty good job. He has actually a surprising story arc in the show. Not my favorite performance of his. That still has to go to Fargo season 1. That was probably my favorite Colin Hanks thing that Colin Hanks did. But overall, this show was absolutely incredible. My one criticism: they do take liberties with things from time to time. Some of them work, like, but others don't. Like, case in point, there's a scene when Al Ruddy, it's not a spoiler, he has an interaction with Mickey Cohen. And that's impossible because at the time this show's taking place, Mickey Cohen was in prison, and Al Ruddy did not go to a prison to talk to him. He went to a nightclub to talk to him. And so it's like, yeah, no, that never happened, and I have to hold it against the show for that. Even though it's just one scene, it doesn't take away from... It's like, come on. You're taking some liberties, I get that, but you're really going overhead with some of the liberties now. And so, I mean, it just seems like you're going to take liberties, try to at least get as close as possible to reality. And so the fact that Mickey Cohen was actually in prison, they show him, like, say, a nightclub, just makes no sense to me. And so, unfortunately, that's the one gripe I have with the show. But almost everything else with the show is amazing. I absolutely love this show. This is a must watch. I cannot stress that enough. And also, prepare yourself. You're probably going to want to watch the original Godfather after you see this. And probably another huge standout for me is Dan Fogel as Francis Ford Coppola. Never in a million years where I thought that the fat, Star Wars fan from Fanboys would have been an amazing Francis Ford Coppola. And like, oh my gosh, he blew my mind away with how incredible he did Francis Ford Coppola. I mean, he looked like him. He did such a great job as Francis Ford Coppola, and him and Rudy and Mario Puzo and the other actors, they play so well off of each other in this show. And there's so many great little scenes that actually happened in real life, like with the cat, that was great, and some of the other things. It's like so many little things. It's like, did that actually happen? It's like, yeah, that actually happened. There's a couple that didn't, like there's a shooting that happened early on in the show. It's like that never happened. But for the most part, like 80 to 90% of all the insane things in the show actually happened. And so this show is incredible. You will have a blast with this show. I absolutely love it. You should go check it out. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this show. So, with that being said, that's been my review of The Offer. I'm probably going to watch this series again. That's how great it was. My name's Christopher Cobb, 11 Hour Views, and that will be all.